Right, so yeah, the zip is well secured down there. So then I've got the bottom, I've got this one to do as well to tie off from this side. That hasn't brought it through. Give me a break. Let's tie that off and cut it off, and then the ones at the bottom, and then I need to remove the tacking that was holding this cloth and zip in the stitched bit. But before I do that, I want to check at the bottom what's going on in terms of how that may or may not be attached. So tie these ones up at the bottom now. That one's okay, that side, because I went quite far down with that one before I chickened out with the other side. So it's the other side that might need something else. Tie that off. Let's have a look. See, I've caught that in there, I can pull that out. Don't even know where it is. That's it. Oh, it's not that far. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, maybe it isn't. I don't know where that one is. Is that it? It's not very long if that's it. I can't find that one. Let's have a look at the front. And for some reason I haven't got one on the front, so... Right, no, I'll have to just leave that one, I can't see it. So I need to take this tacking out now, that was on the front. So I said I wasn't going to pull and I'm not. Snip. But bear in mind that this has got machine stitch over it, so it won't be the easiest to get out. Now you probably can't see on this video, but the machine stitch line doesn't look that horrendous actually. But I am, not on camera today, but I am tonight while I'm watching telly. I'm going to just put a few random French knots up here. It's going to be quite thick to stitch through, but it's still going to be doable. And then I can see this tack in here that was up in the zip, and that's coming out pretty seamlessly. And this will be a good test actually of whether this is secure. I can't see it over there. So if I pull that and snip, and anything else that's under there just have to stay there. Okay. So let's have a look at this. So nothing's hanging, nothing's drooping, is it? There's no, apart from maybe here. Okay. But that's going to be easily remedied, don't worry about that, with the French knots. So the French knots around here, and that's extra security for that. So that's fine, I'm absolutely delighted with that. So it's a case now of getting the tacking out. Seeing if there's any tacking visible within the stitching and the centre bit where I've done the bullion loops, and taking that out if it's possible. Get the tacking out from the zip. I'm just going to snip that, I'm not going to pull it. And then undo this little tie that I did here to keep that down. There. So that's that now. Right, so now, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do now? Right, what I'm going to do now is turn over and trim this. And I didn't bring my fabric scissors, but having said that, I'm going to leave the top, I think. Just trim it a little bit up here. Just use my embroidery scissors. And these are going to be kept, in fact, I was thinking about this a minute ago. I'm going to cut this off and I'm going to have so much lovely snippets for snippet cloth. I might just have to make some snippet cloth today if I get a chance. So that's that side trimmed. Go up here. I'm really not concerning myself with any tacking, to be honest, that's at the back here. This is a piece of textile art or a design sheet. It's not going to be worn or used, it's not a handbag, is it? So let's... I'm just looking to see if I can see any tacking. And because it's white, I really truly can't. So I'm not even going to go rooting about for it. Okay, so now I need to put these on. So, and I do need to get my fabric scissors actually. I need to put that on there. Right, I'm going to go and get my fabric scissors. Oh, won't be a sec. I'm back. So I need to get rid of the raw edge. So the first thing I'm going to do though is trim it down the top of the fabric. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Okay. And then just move that, put it at a safe place. Because I'm literally just going to turn this over and tack it down. Okay, fold it in on itself like that. Actually, I won't just tack it down because I'm thinking it's never going to be visible, but you never can say never. So just in case, what I'm going to do is neatly running stitch it with a bit of bare border. So I'll just thread this needle, which is a feat in itself where I'm concerned. Put a little knot in it, but I only want a little knot because this is going on the sewing machine and I don't want any kind of knot to cause it to bump or whatever. So just from about here, because none of this is going to be visible, you know. I just can't even do a bit of running stitch. Right, and then just a couple of over stitches to secure that. And then cut it off, because it's going to be secured with the sewing machine anyway. And then do the same at the other side. That really is sufficient, and you'll see why in a minute. Although actually, one more, and then come back up, and a couple of over stitches. I'm really warm today. It's warm in here. It's the heating. Right, cut that off. Right, get rid of that and put some more basting thread in my needle, because I think you know what's coming now. Now, whether you intend to finish this top edge on the machine or by hand, you still need to follow the next procedures, okay? So what I'm going to do is get this and lay it so it's just going over the top of that zip. I need it to be straight, so I can actually, this is where my clips will come in handy. I could actually pin it, you know, to be honest, because I'll tell you why. The paper's going to be hidden anyway, so if I put a pin there, okay, and then the other side, I need to move it over a bit because I'm going to pin at this side. Yeah. Right, and then if I just fold it over the top just to see if it looks straight. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's straight. Okay, so put another pin in the middle. I could have marked a line actually there to make sure it was definitely straight. Okay, so that's that. Now, big tacking stitches again, so come down there. It doesn't matter where I come up because this is going to be covered with the other bit of paper. So that's the beauty of this part of the process. So I pulled it through again, right through again. Right, and then up here, big tacking stitches. I said big and these are big. Minimal tacking really, although that's more important for the areas where any holes would affect the front, so these don't, but still. Now I'm going to have to come back later in the week with this piece finished because I'm probably going to add another zip and do something else, so there will be at least another one video later this week. And I can't say which day yet, but trust me, I want this to be finished, not because I'm sick of it or because I don't like it, but because it wasn't in my plan to still be doing it, which is totally my fault, and I know that. But I need to give myself a talking to. So, right, cut that off. And then I can take those pins out. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to get this piece now and lay that on top of there. Okay. Now I've got going on here, it's overlapping a bit here, so I need to fold that in somehow. So I'm just going to fold it in on itself. I told you wouldn't see those running stitches. Put that on top, like that, and then I can't pin this because I don't want to bend this paper at the top. And I need to make sure this is straight. I'm going to get my clips. No wonder they were only 50p. You can't open them. I literally can't open it. Oh, it's ridiculous. Right, so get a couple of clips and I'm going to get my set square. clip this side. And clip this side, and then just, like I said, get my set square out of the drawer. The hardest bit's done though, which was that. Wait a minute. So if I turn this around so it's facing me, it looks square. Yeah, no it is. Yeah, no, we're fine. Few, right. So now, again, into preset holes now. Tacking again across here. Now I've got French knots on there, and I actually, to be honest with you, don't know why I did that, because I don't know how they're going to be affected by the sewing machine. Although I could endeavour to stitch my line above there. I think perhaps actually I'm not going to take it to the sewing machine, because I think maybe in my head I wasn't going to do it on the sewing machine. I was going to tell you how to do it, but I wasn't going to do it on the sewing machine. So down through there, just tacking again. And you're going through a lot here as well, so be careful with your fingers. And it's moving while I'm doing this, so be careful of that too. So you do this, and if you want to stitch it by hand, then just very carefully do French knots all the way along here, and I think that's what I had in my head last night when I did that, to be honest with you. Oh, I've pulled it right through. Karen! And it's shifted as well. Right, try again. No, I'm going to do it on the machine, even though I didn't have that in my head last night. And it should be easier because there's no zip there, although there are French knots, but it'll be a learning curve for me. And if it squashes a few French knots, then I can always come back and French knot them again over them. Okay. And again here, it doesn't matter where I come up because there's a random pattern going on, so it doesn't affect the flow of the pattern in terms of the edge. Okay. But you are coming through quite a lot of layers, so just like I say, be careful of your fingers. You know, and this acrylic paper almost becomes like fabric, like a leathery fabric when you're working on it. It's lovely. I hope some of you have actually got this and you'll know what I'm talking about. So I'm all the way across now nearly, and then I'm going to get my sewing machine back up. Take that off. Oh, I'm wondering, because the only thing about this is the paper at the back needs to be caught, obviously. So if I can work it so that I don't encroach on those French knots. But then again, it might be a good idea to encroach on the French knots because I don't want a straight line with machine sewing on there, do I? I need to get another container for those. They're a bit of a pain, girls, a bit of a pain. Right, so let's have a look at the sewing machine situation. I need to turn the light off, unplug the light, plug the sewing machine in. So I'll turn off and do that and get my sewing machine set up. I won't be a sec. Right, so here we are again. So what I'm going to try and do, I actually, right, it's just, I think I need to move, because I think, oh no, it might be alright. If I move my needle right the other way, like that. And don't forget, I've got this bit under here that I need to tuck in. So if I go right to the very end and start with my needle in, it's quite thick this, so your machine, don't know what your machine's like, I'm hoping mine doesn't complain. I'm just going to have to go for it, okay. I've got a thread flopping about there, I don't know why. So it's kind of half and half. Some knots are getting missed and some aren't. Now I'm coming to the zip bit. Can you tell? I've just broke my needle and I forgot about that. What I should have done was stopped and gone over the zip. Right, so I'm going to have to stop and change my needle. Won't be a sec. Okay, so I've now got to the zip bit again. So what I'm going to have to do is lift my foot up, take my needle out of the work and very carefully move along to an area after the zip, okay, and stitch between it. And again, lift my foot up, take my needle out and take it over the zip. That's probably why it's a better idea to do this by hand with a load of knots. So there, I'm right the way along. So I bet you're thinking now, yeah, but what you're going to do there, where you've got big loops, need to tie these off, of course. Just lift my sewing machine down again. It's so heavy, the sewing machine. Yeah, smarty pants, Karen Ruane. What you're going to do now, where you've got these areas where you've gone over the zip. Well, what I'm going to do there, ladies, is anyway, along this line here, where I've machine stitched, and you can see it, is just do French knots. So I'll just put French knots on top of those. I won't cut them off and tie them off. So that's it so far. So I hope you like it. What I need to do now is tie these ends off, take that tacking out, do those French knots along there, do some random French knots around here, then decide what else I want to put in here patterning wise. Now, and then I'll be back as soon as I've made that decision. And also, where do I want to cut this? Do I want to cut this? Or do I want, I don't know, like that with a zip, with something coming off? Or do I want to follow the line of this zip? Okay, so perhaps here, have another zip and then more fabric. It may well be that I don't end up using this. The more I think about this, the more I think I don't need it. So we'll see. So later in the week I'll be back, and I'm thinking actually it might be an idea to follow that line, how that curves in, and have another zip. But we'll see. I'm not going to decide yet. I'm going to work on this and complete what I need to do first, and hopefully that will inform me. But I will be back later in the week to finish this with you, okay?